Good morning, Mr. Jopper Nazario. I'm Anamarie Batulan from Criminology 14 and I'm going to answer the critical thinking questions.
Question number 1. Are criminals rational decision makers or are they motivated by uncontrollable psychological and emotional drives?
For me, criminals are rational beings because the crime they are doing is not just a crime. They are planning of the crime they wanted to oppose.
Question number 2. Would you want to live in a society where crime rates are low? Because criminals are subjected to extreme harsh punishment, such as flogging for vandalism.
If I were to choose, I'll never live to a place where crime rates are low but the punishment for a light offenses is heavy penalty. Because if I myself did a light offense for a instant vandalism, then I lead to death penalty.
Question number 3. Is it possible to create a method of capital punishment that would actually defer murder? For example, by televising execution, what may be some of the negative consequences of such a policy?
For me, it's yes. Because it will be a big help for the community because the criminal may afraid they wanted to do a crime. The negative impact is the people may afraid.
Another critical thinking question. Question number 1. What should be done with the young children of violence-prone criminals if in fact research could show that the tendency to commit crime is inherited?
For me, if a child is prone to a crime, the parents should lead them in their environment so that they will not prone to do criminal things.
Question number 2. After considering the existing research on the subject, would you recommend the young children be forbidden from eating foods with a heavy sugar content?
For me, yes, because it has a big impact to the young people. Moreover, eating a food with a higher intent may affect the child behavior that may lead to a aggressive.
Another question, number 3. Research show the kids who watch a lot of TV in adolescence are more likely to behave aggressively in adulthood. This has led some to conclude that TV watching is responsible for adult violence. Can this relationship be explained in another way?
For me, watching TV may affect to the child's behavior because they can apply the things that they see when they act.
Another question, question number 1. Do you believe a distinct lower class culture exists?
For me, yes, because more easily able to commit a crime the poor living people because they need have enough daily needs.
Another question, question number 2. Will emerging forms of communication such as the internet reduce cultural differences and create a more homogeneous society, or are subculture resistant to such influences?
For me, there's a lot of effect of communication in the use of internet because using the internet, we can get a lot of information that may learn some criminal techniques.
Question number 3. How would the structural theories explain the presence of middle-class crime?
For me, middle class will not function if lower class and upper class are none because they are connected to one another and they has a needs to one another.
Another question number 1. Do you negative labels cause crime, or do people who commit crime become negatively labeled? That is, are labels a cause of crime or a result?
I think people are doing crime because they are labeled. They are doing rebel things for they know that they are not important.
Question number 2. Once weekend, can a person bonds to a society become reattached? What social processes may help reattachment?
For me, yes, because we cannot base the people's attitude for what he was done. Every person can change, so that we should not judge immediately.
Question number 3. Can you think of ways you may have supported your peers or siblings' antisocial behavior by helping them learn criminal techniques or attitude?
For example of this is when one person is living in a turbulent surrounding, it may affect a person.
Question number 4. Do you recall neutralizing any guilt you might have felt or committing a criminal or illegal act? Did your neutralizations come before or after you committed the act in question?
For me, my neutralization is done after I committed a crime.
Another critical thinking question. Question number 1. How would the conservative reply to a call for more restorative justice? How will the restorative justice advocate respond to a conservative call for more prison?
For me, we should all be equal and everything should in a due process.
Question number 2. Is conflict inevitable in all cultures? If not, what can be done to reduce the level of conflict in your own society?
The thing that should be done to lessen the problem in our community is every people to be responsible.
Question number 3. How religious conflict replaced class conflict as the most important issue facing modern society? Can anything be done to heal the rifts between people of different faiths?
The right thing should be done is to accept differences. For example, the Catholic and the Iglesia. That should be accepted.
Question number 1. Do you believe it is a latent right that makes a person crime prone or a crime a function of environment and socialization?
I believe that it is not on the trait of a person if they committed a crime. I therefore believe that they adapted it to their environment.
Question number 2. Do people really change or do they stay the same but appear to the different because their life circumstances have changed?
I believe that criminal may change, especially when they will avoid criminal things, because it is always that we can adapt of what the society is doing. Thank you, sir. Bye bye.